Hi guys, Jeff Marples here. Hey, you know what? I found something pretty cool on Google. I didn't quite realize this until just the other day when I was creating my last video. And I think that most of you people that are living in San Francisco, this is not going to be too much of a new one for you. But for those people that are relocating, I wanted to show you something on Google, which is I thought it was pretty cool. I'm going through the Google map, and here's the overview of the city, right? And you know, the city of San Francisco is 7 miles wide, 7 miles long, you know, back and forth. This has all the great neighborhoods, you know, outer Richmond, Sunset, all the way into the financial district. Now, when you're looking at the overall, you know, a lot of the people that I work with, they want to see, you know, a lot of people either want, you know, new construction, you know, like the high-rise towers, Lumina, Infinity, the Harrison, all of those high-rise buildings down in South Beach, which I'm incredibly familiar with. There's also some new construction along the Van Ness corridor, which is where you'd see the Highway 101 sign right here. Ever since San Francisco had announced that they were going to be redeveloping that corridor, especially the base of that was going to be the General Hospital, you know, that area has been on fire. But really what I want to show you is, you know, look at all of these little brown spaces. And I didn't quite realize this until it just sort of clued into me. These are commercial corridors. And we're going to get into it a little bit. And so if you guys are looking for area, you know, the thing about San Francisco is, you know, there's so many different neighborhoods. There's actually, you know, well over 88 different neighborhoods within the city. And, you know, they all have different feels to it. And realistically, if you're relocating to the city, you're really probably going to be looking at, you know, starting off with maybe 10 or 12 and narrowing it down. It really just comes down to, you know, working with you guys to figure out, you know, what you're looking for, what kind of atmosphere you want, what kind of construction you want. You know, clearly, if you're not interested in an old Victorian, you know, you're limiting yourself, and then you're really focusing yourself on really those neighborhoods like, you know, South Beach, for instance, right? So I wanted to show you some of the interesting things that I thought were really cool is that these brown areas that are highlighted, you could say tan areas, why don't we just say that, are the commercial shopping districts, right? And so when you're going through here and you're thinking, well, I want to live in an area that, you know, because really when I advise people relocating to the city, I'm always asking, where do you work? Right? Because the reality is, hey, if you're going to be traveling either to the East Bay, hey, you know, that's one thing. If you're going to be traveling down to Silicon Valley, that's another thing, because you really want to know your routes, because it can take you 20 minutes to cross the city, depending on where you're at. So, like, say people say, oh, you know, I'd like the marina, but they live in Silicon Valley. Okay, that's sort of 20 minutes just to get down to the freeway, and I'll show you. Look, you know, here's the Marina District, and you got to get all the way down to the 101 or the 280 just to get across the city. So, you know, but it also comes down to people saying, you know, I really want to have that mix of what is your weekend environment looking like? What is your day looking like? You know, if you're traveling and it's taking you way too long to get through the city, we have to adjust the search a little bit. But also, what does your weekend look like? How do you want your weekend to look like? You know, if you know me, you know, I lived in Coal Valley and I lived in the Haight-Ashbury. I lived at the corner of Haight and Ashbury for years, and really right at the corner. And you'd think that's just a crazy location. But, you know, from my point of view, it was absolutely fantastic. I raised 3 kids at the corner of Haight and Ashbury. You know why? Because I had all of my conveniences right outside my front door. Plus, I had access to 3 different parks, playgrounds, and everything. So from my point of view, you know, yeah, I had to deal with the hippy dippy and all of that. And I you know, that's all good with me. But it's also a matter of, hey, there was a tremendous amount of convenience with that. You know, for my daily life, it was really, really good. Beyond my parking situation, it was really good. But when you're coming through here and you're looking at the map of San Francisco, you know, one of the things that I'd really advise is say, look, you know, what kind of lifestyle do you want? And then look at these different shopping districts. So up in the Marina, let's just sort of zero in a little bit. Look, you've got Chestnut Street right here. Chestnut Street is absolutely fantastic. There's some bars, restaurants, some good eating. on a sunny day, on a weekend day, this area is booming. You're close to the Marina Boulevard. It's really kind of trendy. When you get over to Union Street, this is actually in Cow Hollow. So you're not in the marina anymore. You're in Cow Hollow, which is really the northern front of Pacific Heights. This shopping street is absolutely fantastic also, but it has a different feel. You do have, estate sale, boutique-y sort of things, a little bit higher end. When you get over to Polk Street, look at Polk Street. Polk Street really is one of the longest streets within the city. That's a commercial shopping district, and it does change. I think that Polk Street is fabulous. I think it still has a little bit of cleaning up I would do, maybe a couple of street trees or whatever. But when you get down south of Geary Street down here, you got to know that, hey, there's some bars down here, and there's some, bars get out at night, and some, gets loud. Come on, let's be honest with you. Fillmore Street. I actually am in love with Fillmore Street. If you've seen some of my earlier videos, Fillmore is absolutely fantastic. And part of the reason is, I love the eclectic nature. I love going to the fabulous Fillmore Street concert hall. I've seen some great venues, seen some old college bands. I was actually there just a couple days ago with some friends of mine up here. We saw Paul Weller, who's an English rock star, and it's a great venue. You go a little bit south down into the Western Addition down in Fillmore Street. Also, there's some jazz bands. I've taken my wife down there. Great. You've got the Kabuki in Japantown. Japantown is super fun in my opinion. Great shopping street. You get over down to the Hayes Valley area. You've got the lower Haight and you've got the upper Haight, right? So Haight-Ashbury is considered the upper Haight. That's where I live. I lived right in here, Haight at Ashbury. It is really nice. I do think that you've got a different edge on you. Some people will hate it. Some people love it. You do have your tourists out there. You do have your summer backpackers that cruise through there. And, most people are harmless without a doubt. It's just, it's not, it's a different crowd than what you would get over in Union Street, bar none. But look at, from a family point of view, from a father's point of view, look at all these playgrounds. I had a playground in Buena Vista. I had a playground right here in the Panhandle Park. And you'd have the big original playground within the Golden Gate Park. Just absolutely fantastic, guys. And then in the lower Haight, there's some bar scenes down there. You're getting down in the Hayes Valley area. It's still very popular, without a doubt. And then the Hayes Valley, when they had redone the end of the off-ramp on the 101, some of you might remember, that they used to have the inland freeway. They tried to, so they used to have that fell exit. This is 10 years ago, guys. I'm dating myself. But that Hayes Valley area is really charming. 10 years ago, it really wasn't. So, some of these neighborhoods really can come back, and I think that Hayes Valley is one of them. When you get down a little bit further, you get the Castro. Castro is what it is. It's fabulous little, it's vibrant community. There's some really nice restaurants down there. I just, personally, I think the Castro is really, it's very cool. It's something that you don't really see all the time. Just the dichotomy of different cultural groups over there. I love it. There's some really nice sandwich shops in there. I pass through there quite often because I sort of, I do my circles. I go do my tour, especially on Tuesdays. I do my tours. And I stop in and get some food over there every once in a while. Got Market Street right here. Market Street's busy. You know that. You get down here in Noe Valley. Noe Valley is incredibly popular. The one thing from a parent's point of view, I think there's a lot of parents that love that area. My personal opinion is, I wish there was more playgrounds, parks. I like to run. I like to jog. That's one of the reasons why I like to Haight-Ashbury, considering. But also from a little kid's perspective, I like the playgrounds. But 24th Street really is incredibly nice. The other thing about it is, hey, you've got, you know, Muni access, you've got shopping, you got Whole Foods, you've got so much going on there, but also you have your outs. You know, when I say your outs, you know, hey, if you're driving down to Silicon Valley every day, super easy. Get on the 101 or back over, get on Portola, you hit the 280, and you're driving south. So super easy. When you get over to Intermission, you know, you have Mission Street right here. There are some great shops. You know, really, you know, you have the cultural shops over there in the Mission. And then, you know, appliance shops and just really handy buildings are over there that sell great things. Valencia Street, great restaurants, unbelievable restaurants down there. If you want, you know, some of the best restaurants in the city, or just like burritos in the city that are on some of the top, what is it, the Michelin reports, you know, they're right there in Valencia. And just fabulous. You know, it's a very long corridor. It's super fun to go out there and have date night or meet up with the lads and go out there and have some dinner. Just a great time. Look, I also mentioned in one of my recent reports, my videos regarding 24th Street. You can see this other part of 24th Street right over here. You know, so it really gives access to you know, Intermission, you call it the Mission District here, but Intermission, there's some really, really good stuff. I'm going to swing on over here to Potrero. You got Dog Patch. A lot of people are asking me about Dog Patch. Dog Patch is really, you know, it's an eclectic neighborhood. You've got some old Victorians. You've got some renovated buildings over there. But you've got this corridor. Actually, my accountant's over there. And you've got some great things that are going on in there. You know, great shots. I think there's a fabulous ice cream shop that's probably right around where the CH is. Just there's some really, really good stuff going on in there. When we go a little bit further south, you see Cortland. You know, Bernal Heights is really one of these neighborhoods. It's come a long way. You know, the lot sizes are a little bit smaller, but look, you've got this corridor on Mission Street. So there's a lot of convenience down there, but also the Cortland Avenue is just charming. I mean, come on, it's really, really nice. People that live over there, come on, you get it. When you get down to Glen Park, you can see there's a little downtown. It's not as big as the others, but it's really, it's a tight little neighborhood. It's super nice, guys. You know, I think Glen Park is sort of underrated to some degree. You do have a number of conveniences right there. I mean, you get on the freeway, you got on BART, super easy. So I'm going to come back up here and sort of finish up my tour here. You know, I said I lived in Quail Valley. I lived on Downey Street, and I had fabulous views. And when you look down, you got the UCSF. You can always see the fog blanket coming in. The fog's going to stop right around here, you know, up and down. But you have this area of inner Sunset, and it's really, I always really liked it. You have it's very eclectic. You have different ethnic backgrounds over there. A lot of Russians apparently over there. Just really cool. And the thing is about this, you got your convenience, but you also have the Golden Gate Park. You know, I'm a huge fan of the Golden Gate Park. When you come down here, Noriega Street, and then Terraville. Terraville is actually pretty darn long. You've got the light rail Muni Street, the Muni that goes through there, and it's really, really nice. You come back up, you've got Geary Street. Of course, Geary Street. You're going to have all sorts of stuff on Geary Street. But then you have Clement Street. Now, when I first moved to the city, you know, I relocated from Taiwan. I was living out there for a while. And I came back, and I really thought that Clement Street was really the true Chinatown, you know, compared to what the tourists see, you know, over there on Powell Street. You really have it over there on Clement Street. I still go over there, you know, I have fish tanks, guys, and my place of choice is to go over there on, was it 5th Street or 5th and Clement, there's a aquatic store over there. And then you have Laurel Village. You've got some really good stuff over in Laurel Village. You've got the hospitals, too, where my kids were born. And I think that's really, that gives you sort of an overview. Well, let's go back. I didn't, you know, got the financial district, Columbus Avenue. So this is all North Beach. And when you're in Columbus, right here is really North Beach right here, not necessarily right up here. Fabulous restaurants, guys. You know, you do have a lot of the bridge and tunnelers coming over on the weekend. You know, do a little whoop whoop party. But you know, it's cool. You know, my office is over on this side. You know, towards Taylor and Francisco. It's super convenient for me because I could really reach out to most of the city very easily. But just, you know, these are the neighborhoods, guys, that you really need to start to explore. And when you back out of it, you know, you could really see that there is a tremendous amount of opportunity to find the right neighborhood for you. You know, there's all sorts of different neighborhoods. They all have different weather patterns. They all have different conveniences. And so it's really, you know, part of it is from my job, when I help people relocate to the city, you know, these are the things that we want to tour. I want to show you guys what's going on in the city, what feels right. And that's part of, like, you know, I love the Tuesday tour when somebody says and raises their hand and says, Jeff, I'm coming out to Tuesday and Wednesday, you know, because we're going to do Tuesday tour. South Beach is really Wednesday nowadays, but we cover so much territory. We see so many units. And at a certain point, you know, after that, you know, these people are going, that was just absolutely fantastic, because they get a great tour of the city. We look at a lot of real estate. And at the end of the day, at the end of the session, it's 2-3 hours, you know, at the end, you know, some of that stuff starts to bleed together, you know, especially the houses. But you really get a great sense of what is what. You know, it's sort of like what I really call it's the, you know, relocation 101 to San Francisco. You know, you really have to get the lay of the land. And that's part of it, you know. So when you come here, I want you guys to have the lifestyle that you envision for San Francisco, because believe me, the lifestyle is key. It's essential to finding the right neighborhood in the city, and that's sort of what we want to do. And so that's sort of my little video of the mapping of San Francisco neighborhoods for you guys. But I do think it's really important. And I would love to be able to talk shop with you guys and help you sort out what's right for you. And give me a call. You know, I just love the city of San Francisco. And part of the reason is just it's so dynamic. It is incredibly dynamic. The real estate is incredibly dynamic. You have old school, you got new school, you've got old exteriors with renovated interiors. I mean, it is so different as opposed to most neighborhoods, you know, maybe some downtown Chicago, old school, you know, brownstones in New York. But, you know, this is the reason why I love San Francisco, guys. Anyway, so give me a shout. I'd love to be able to chat with you about the different neighborhoods and all that fun stuff. And I hope this was helpful for those that are relocating. And cheers. Have a good week, guys. Thanks.